I'm going all in on this one altcoin because I believe deep in the depths of my heart that it's going to produce life-changing returns in the very, very near future. That altcoin that I'm talking about is Radix, a layer 1 blockchain building specifically for DeFi that is changing the game. So in this video, I'm going to cover what Radix is and how it's way different from any other layer 1. I'm going to talk about why I'm going all in right now. I'm going to cover my profit taking strategy as well as my yield farming strategy so I can show you guys how to accumulate it passively so that we can sell it once it hits our price targets and move on to the next project. So without further ado, let's get into it. And before I get started, I do have to let you know that this is not financial advice. Please talk to your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. This video is for your education purposes only. All right, so I made a in-depth video on Radix and why it's the best layer 1. So if you haven't watched that video yet, definitely give it a watch. But just to briefly reiterate, let's talk about some things that makes Radix really, really cool. So the first thing is they're a layer 1 and they're building specifically for DeFi. You have all these chains that's like trying to build for everything, but I'm really bullish on purpose-specific blockchains, like the whole concept of blockchains as cities, where there will be blockchains that specialize for certain use cases, just like we have internet browsers that specialize in certain use cases. Second thing is they invented their own programming language called Scripto, which is more secure and more flexible. So just to give you guys a few facts, if you read their DeFi white paper, and I went over this in the video that I made that I just referenced, they show what Uniswap looks like built on Solidity. And long story short, it's a lot of smart contract touch points. And every time a smart contract interacts with another smart contract, it's a chance for a vulnerability to be exploited, aka a hack. Scripto is an asset-oriented programming language, and they put their assets in buckets. So that kind of thing can't even happen. And now this whole issue of Solidity developers spending 10% of their time building, 90% of the time making sure that their contracts are safe and won't get hacked, even though there's still a fuck ton of hacks happening all the time. Radix is aiming to flip that on its head, okay? They did a contest where they had some Solidity developers try to build an AI chess application. Some of the best developers took a long time to do it. Some couldn't even do it. Whereas they had some novice crypto developers build an AI application in one single weekend. That's profound. And then going back to the Uniswap example, Uniswap on Solidity is thousands of lines of code. Uniswap built on Scripto, couple hundred lines of code. I have a co-founder who owns an app development agency. He's built dApps across different chains, and he says Scripto is his favorite programming language by far for the reasons that I'm telling you right now. I am not a developer, so I can only go off what people say. So here's a cool fact here. In February of 2022, they had 140 Scripto developers. In June, they had 2,072. And now April, they have over 12,003 developers building on Scripto. Not only that, but they're seeing 72% growth in the bear market. That's huge, guys. That's huge. I can't stress the importance of this. If there aren't developers building dApps, there will be no retail to come use the dApps. Developers happen first on the tech stack. They build applications that we know and love, and then we come and use them and pay fees, and that's how they make money, and that's the cycle. There are a lot of developers building on Scripto, and with the programming language that's way simpler, I think there will be a lot of cooler dApps and a lot of safer dApps, which would make crypto more desirable. Another thing they're doing different is their Radix smart wallet. So if you use MetaMask, you know that if you sign a transaction, a lot of times you don't know what the fuck you signing because it's just a bunch of random shit on there sometimes. It takes an expert like me. I go through and read everything, make sure I'm not signing a bad contract because that's how you get hacked. Well, on their Radix smart wallet, they make that clear and concise so you know exactly what you're signing and it's not confusing. Not only that, they're building it on mobile. So I always tell people, like, don't do crypto on your phone because phones aren't to the point where they're secure. And plus, these crypto dApps aren't building mobile-friendly dApps. Radix is trying to change that as well. Their smart wallet, like I said, makes it easier to sign transactions. It's mobile-friendly. And they make it so that you can have the option to recover your keys if you want to. So that way, you know, our parents and grandparents aren't going to be like, well, shoot, I'll lose my passwords to stuff all the time. If I lose it, I can never get back in. Well, hey, guess what? Got you covered on that too. And lastly, their tokenomics are phenomenal, like Bill Gates says. Check this out. So here we are on CoinGecko, and you have the market cap at 684 million, right? But like I always say, you want to look at the FDV, the fully diluted valuation. This is what major institutions use. And this takes into account the entire supply. You get the market cap by multiplying the circulating supply by price, but you want to take into account the max supply, right? The fully diluted valuation is 1.6 billion. Okay, why the disparity? They have what's called a stablecoin reserve, and I covered this in my last video as well. I think it's like 2.4 billion Radix, and you can do the math on what that price is, but that's there for 10 years just in case something happens and they need to allocate it to like fix a stablecoin protocol or something on a network. If it's not needed, it gets burned forever. So we're not gonna have to worry about that getting dumped onto the supply. And on top of that, they didn't take VC capital, so we don't have to worry about some major unlock happening. Okay, it's just the FDV mainly consists of the stablecoin reserve and just the Radix tokens that has to be minted via their proof of stake algorithm. So that's really good. Most of these projects are VC funded, and that's not a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing once these VCs with the fiduciary responsibility to provide a return to their investors go to sell, and then it hurts everyone else. Okay, so now that I cover that, why now? Like, why am I going all in now? I've been talking about Radix for like a year. Why now? And just to give you a little clarity, when I say all in, I don't mean with everything I got. I'm talking about the portion of my portfolio that's allocated towards altcoins. Like I still have my Bitcoin, my ETH, and my cash, but my entire altcoin allocation, I'm putting it towards Radix. And here's why. So if you go on their website, radixdlt.com, you see they have their BetaNet, Olympia, Alexandria. That's what's live right now. This summer, late July, they're releasing Babylon. Okay, and it says here, with crypto component smart contracts running on network, decentralized royalty system, and on network blueprint catalog. Speaking of the royalty system, that's another cool thing that they're doing that we didn't talk about. The royalty system does this. Let's say I'm a developer and I built the standard for an AMM, right? And it's open source and other people use my code. Well, hey, guess what? I get royalties paid out to me on a per transaction basis. So that's going to incentivize developers to build the best tech because they want people to use it so they can get paid their royalties. So if your stuff isn't the best, people are going to use what's the best. That's a very, very healthy thing they can do from a competition standpoint. Okay, going back to Babylon, let's look at this. It says at the network protocol level, Babylon will add the ability for developers to contribute to and use an on-ledger blueprint catalog. This upgrade to a fully programmable network with the Radix Engine v2 brings other major changes. A wholesale update to our asset-oriented transaction model, a change in how wallets interact with the network, a complete rebuild of how the network functions, like staking and emissions work, and even a shift in the meaning of function of accounts themselves, okay? I left out another major thing that they're doing that's cool. They supposedly figured out how to solve the blockchain trilemma, decentralization, security, speed. You have to pick two. They figured out a way to get all three without compromising atomic composability. And again, I did talk about all that in detail in my video, so definitely give that a watch. But they're launching their Babylon mainnet. And I don't think it's like the Ultra mainnet because they still have like Zion or something, if I pronounced that correctly. But now people are going to be able to use crypto on the actual Radix network, okay? So I'm super interested to see what that's going to look like. And let's take a look at price here, and I'll give you some more details as to why I'm going all in now. All right, so this is the Radix chart, Radix and USDC, and this is the weekly chart. As you can see, right now the price is 6 cents. Just to get back to the all-time high is around a 9x. Yeah, a little more than a 9x. So for every dollar you put in, you can make 9. So pretty much an easy 10x, right? I caught this little pump down here from, was this 3 cents to 14 cents? That's pretty much like a 4 or 5x. And I believe that pump was in anticipation of the Babylon release. Now, I'm cool with buying anywhere in this yellow range. I'm going to keep buying. I'm going to keep yield farming. My new model for this year is take profits. Like, I'm going to have a stash of Radix that I don't sell until it at least gets to the all-time highs. But as it goes up and it hits previous areas of support and resistance, because other traders are going to look at that and have their exit. So I'm going to have mine a little bit before that. When it gets here to 13 cents, I'm going to be taking profits. When it gets here, because you can see how it had these touches over here, I'm going to be taking profits. I'm probably going to take some more profits here. Not saying it'll go this high, but this is my plan. You always want to have a plan and get out before you get in. and then just keep taking profits along the way. I don't care how good a protocol is. The market in the short term is a voting machine. In the long term, it's a weighing machine. That's a quote by Warren Buffett, and it's super true. So a lot of times the value of something isn't really reflected in the price in the short term. Now let's talk about my yield farming strategy. Now, I've been talking about this position for months. As you can see, I've been in this position for 424 days, well over a year. And the whole time I was in it, it didn't go out of range a single time. And it's been printing me, on average, 45%. Lately, it's been printing more because people are bullish on Babylon. So I'm getting 52% APR. My whole time in the pool, I've made 14 grand. So what I did was, I don't compound my rewards. I take the ETH from here, and I use it to buy more Radix, and I'll send that Radix to another wallet. And then once that price pumped, all of the Radix I had been buying and accumulating through yield farming, I got to sell, all right? And now that the price went back down, I bought back in. That's just, combining yield farming and trading is the best thing. Like, trying to do just yield farming is too hard. Trying to do just trading is too hard. A lot of the reasons being is because people want to be doing something. Like, they always say, don't trade consolidation. And they also say, don't yield farm when the market's going up. Well, hey, now you have tools on your tool belt where you can always be doing something. When the market's choppy, I'm yield farming. When the market's going up, I'm trading, taking profits. There's always something I can be doing to be making money. And once Know What Owls releases in mid to late July, we're going to be showing people how to do just that. Accumulate the best assets that you can ahead of the next bull market so you can sell them when the price goes up. Simple as that. So this pair is EXRD and Wrapped ETH. So they have Radix on the main net, but then they also have eRadix, where they have the actual Radix, store it somewhere safe, and they minted eRadix on the Ethereum mainnet. And if you bridge it over, that gets burned. So now, lastly, this is a surprise if you stuck around this long. So this website is radixecosystem.com. Okay. Now, I just made a video on my zksync airdrop and trading strategy. I'm kind of taking that same approach here. I might make another video on this. Let me know in the comments. If I get enough comments, maybe I'll make another video. But what I plan to do, once I'm taking profits from Radix, I want to start looking into their ecosystem, because, you know, once people start making money with the gas token, they want to start diversifying into the ecosystem tokens. And normally it's decentralized exchanges that do really well. So you can hit DEX, and you can start to look at some of the DEXs that's built on Radix. Caviar Swap is a popular one I hear people talk about all the time. Maybe that'll be one I'll buy. You have DeFi. You can look and see what DeFi protocols are being built on Radix. Like, you know, it's a lot of stuff being built on here, and a lot of it is different because RDX domain, go ahead and get your domain. I didn't even see that one. A lot of it's different because this programming language, Scripto, offers you a lot more flexibility. You know, they have stuff in the metaverse as well. Let's see what they got here. Not a lot, but I expect this to be growing, you know, fast as they launch their mainnet. So with that, I like to conclude this video. I am a Radix bull. If I had a Radix t-shirt, I would be wearing it right now. So if you guys are watching, send me something. I'll keep making videos on you guys because I'm bullish on projects that are actually doing things different. You know, I was listening to the CEO talk, and he talked about, he used an analogy to building buildings. Like, most of these layer ones, the competition is to who can build the tallest building. And what Radix did, instead of just started building upward, they start digging a hole, right? And digging deep. Like, what projects release their programming language before they release the mainnet so they can get feedback? Because once you launch something, you can only launch it once. It's kind of like having a baby. It's like, once you're pregnant, you can do a lot of things to make sure the baby is good, yada, yada, yada. But once you have the baby, now you just have to focus on raising it. And it's the same thing here. So they've been cultivating their garden and their resources very, very well, unlike any other project that I've ever seen. I applaud them for it. A lot of people are saying, oh, they're taking all this time. They didn't take any VC capital. People aren't taking them serious. But I think Radix is a sleeping giant. And I think they're going to fucking come up here and sneak up on everyone. And I think they can be even more valuable than Ethereum in the future, just because of how their tech is built out. Ethereum has a lot of flaws that if you're not, you know, technically inclined and pay attention to the details, you know, it goes over your head. So with that, I'd like to conclude this video. I thank you so much for tuning in. Give me your feedback in the comments. Let me know if I missed something. Let me know of some other benefit that maybe I didn't talk about, or something I should be aware of that maybe I missed, okay? I'm always open for conversation, feedback. Other than that, hope you got value from this video, and I will see you in the next one.